Welcome to For Good Measure, an interview series celebrating diverse composers and other creative artists. I'm Nanette McGuinness, Artistic Executive Director of Ensemble for these times. In this week's episode, we continue our Da Capo Conversations, a mini-series where we'll be giving familiar segments a topical twist. Today, we revisit Devon Lee's and Caleb Palka's perspectives on what being a composer means to them. Here's what Devon Lee had to say.
Since I've been in a lot of different spaces for kids learning about composition, the first thing that people ask is kind of like, what is a composer? What does making music mean? And God, for me, I feel like I was saying before about trying not to get too existential. I feel like I used to think that composing was kind of like, inscribing your name upon the world, like kind of, like the greats, kind of like Mahler-esque, just kind of like that. But it's a Mahlerian, I don't know. But I think for me, for a long time, it was just kind of like expressing this or that, kind of month to month, day to day, what I wanted to hear and making that. And then it sort of incorporated, I know a lot of people say this, but kind of like a creative outlet or like emotional outlet to describe things that I just couldn't through words. I often struggle a lot with words. I've always loved creative writing, but I'm kind of like a really, I get bashful very easily when sharing about myself. So instrumental music or setting someone else's words and putting my own meaning behind it was really huge for me. And it made me really feel like it gave me an in to expressing myself. And not that instrumental music is any less exposed than creative writing or anything like that. But for me, at least, it felt like just the way that I think was the right modality for me to share things. For me, I think being a composer, honestly, is just anyone who wants to like write and share music. I don't feel like there should be that like kind of pedagogy or like fear behind it of like, oh, I haven't taken 10 levels of theory, I'm not a composer. But just anyone who's like, I want to write and make music.
Here's what Caleb Palka had to say.
I've enjoyed writing as well as composing for a long time, and I see them both as like very intertwined kinds of forms of expression, ways of interacting with the world and noticing small details and then sort of shaping these things into music, into words, and as a way of creating something that makes me more aware of everything I encounter in my daily life. I guess a sort of mindfulness. Like I find when I go on a walk in the woods, I'm listening to like all the different types of bird calls and like what's the musical shape of the phrase of that bird call, and listening to the wind in the trees or like the dry leaves crunching under my foot. It just sort of shapes how I experience the world.
Thank you for listening to For Good Measure's Da Capo Conversations, and a special thank you to our guests for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast by clicking on the subscribe button and support us by sharing it with your friends, posting about it on social media, and leaving us a rating and a review. To learn more about E4TT, our concert season online and in the Bay Area, or to make a tax-deductible donation, please visit us at www.e4tt.org. This podcast is made possible by grants from the California Arts Council, the San Francisco Arts Commission, Grants for the Arts, and generous donors like you. For Good Measure is produced by Nanette McGuinness and Ensemble for these times and designed by Brennan Stokes, with special thanks to co-producer and audio engineer Stephanie M. Neumann. Remember to keep supporting equity in the arts and tune in next week for Good Measure.